Time to wrap up the week with hot topics, lighting the internet abuzz. Scott Jennings is back, along with the host of Can We Please Talk podcast, Mike Leon. Glad to have both of you here. Scott, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon delivering something of an ultimatum to his employees who are still working from home. Listen.
The people of you who don't want to work at the company, that's fine with me. I'm not mad at you. Don't be mad at me. It's a free country. You can walk with your feet, but this company is going to set our own standards and do it our own way. And I've had it with this kind of stuff. And, I come in, I've been working 7 days a goddamn week since COVID. And I come in and where's everybody else? But they're here and there and the Zooms don't show up. And people say they didn't get stuff. So that's not how you run a great company. We didn't build this great company by doing that.
I mean, from the White House to Wall Street, this is the conversation. Is working from home dead?
I don't think it's dead, but it's going away. And I think, look, Donald Trump won the election, and now every CEO in the country finally decided to grow a pair. I mean, people are taking back their companies. They're taking back our work culture and saying, show up for work and work with your team. And, I've been in a lot of different professional settings over the years. It always seems to work better when you get people together and in the same room, collaborating and germinating ideas and fighting for the same mission. It's just, having done this with kids on Zoom and having also had some Zoom in part of my professional life, the in-person stuff is working. So God bless this rant, because I think a lot of company CEOs in America are thinking the same thing.
I say this as, of course, all three of us are remotely talking to each other, and it seems to work okay. Mike, what's your response, though?
Right. Well, first off, no better Valentine's present, right, than Scott Jennings and Laura Coates. That's my nightcap here. But look, two things can be true at the same time, Laura. As Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, says, two things can be true at the same time. One, there's nothing like hearing from a multi-millionaire CEO as his company made $58.5 billion in net income last year in 2024. Tell us about how we all need to get back in office. That's number one. But number two, and more importantly, is he is right. He's just delivering it wrong. As somebody who's worked in product and technology for over 15 years, it does make sense when product managers and engineers are in person, when departments line up their schedules to come in person. You don't have to do it every day, as we're proving evidence right now, but you do have to do some of it. So don't confuse remote work for hybrid work. He just delivered it wrong, and obviously he didn't know he was being recorded.
Well, we'll see, because it has saved some money, and not everyone has to be together all the time, but we'll see how it all ends up in the wash, as they say. I want to get to this story that's really interesting to me, especially legendary commentator Stephen A. Smith. He was asked whether or not, Mike, he would want to be president. Here's his response.
I have no interest in being a politician. I have no interest in running for office. But if people came to me and my money was right and I didn't have anything to worry about, and they said, Stephen A., we just want you to be in the White House, because that's the only office I would be interested in. I wouldn't be interested in being one of 100 senators, and I damn sure wouldn't be interested in being one of 435 congressional figures. But if you told me that I could be the president of the United States of America, I'm not going to sit up there and tell you that I would not strongly entertain that. Yes, I would.
Well, that's not really the offer that usually gets made, Mike, on this point. But I wonder, with Stephen A. Smith, is he valuable to Democrats? Are you reading the book? He's reading the book.
Is he valuable? Well, hold on, Laura. Let me pontificate, if I may, do my Stephen A. Smith impression here for you, Laura Coates. I was a producer at ESPN from 2010. I was a producer at ESPN from 2010 to 2011. I happen to know Stephen A. Smith. We know of each other. The problem I have with Stephen A. Smith right now, and this is something that Scott has tweeted about, it's that the Democratic Party didn't know how to use podcasters, particularly somebody like a Stephen A., right? Somebody that has a platform. They didn't know how to use them properly. Stephen A. needs to figure out if he's going to put the same intention that he did working at the Philadelphia Inquirer, covering sports for 25 years and using that journalism degree, if he's going to use that same intention when it comes to podcasting and doing interviews, because right now what he's doing is a semblance. He's giving hot takes to feed the algorithmic machine of YouTube so he can monetize. But then also he's doing things like this where, I may run for office even though he considers himself a centrist. So he needs to pick a lane. But for right now, Stephen A. Smith, I'm going to get back to doing some reading.
Scott, what do you say? You don't have a prop, but you can talk anyway.
Look, I think the coin of the realm in politics right now is authenticity. It's why Donald Trump largely burst onto the scene and, did away with all his primary opponents in 2016. It's how he beat Kamala Harris. It's the idea that you're not just reading someone's script, that you're actually authentically speaking your mind. And also what we learned from Donald Trump is that you can sort of create some elasticity in your party and in your political coalition. I mean, we got a party now that's got everybody from Mitch McConnell to RFK Jr. in it, with Donald Trump at the top of the whole thing. But authenticity buys you a lot of capital in politics, and I think that would be true for anybody who ran for president in either party. Democrats have a real problem with this. Stephen A. Smith comes out, presents as an authentic guy. I've wondered if they don't need to move away from the standard political types and get into something like this. I don't know if he's the right one, but that kind of a communicator who doesn't appear to be just reading the script that was handed to him by a political consultant could be really, really interesting in a campaign.
I'm here for it. I'm interested in it. I'll watch it unfold. Real quick, I want to ask you both very quickly here, yes or no, if you were Donald Trump, would you be hanging your mugshot outside the Oval Office? Mike, what do you say?
Laura, it's 2025. Up is down, left is right. Hang up the mugshot. Don't hang up the mugshot. It doesn't matter. It's 2025. Hang it up. He hung it up.
Scott, what do you say?
100%. The man's a total gangster. I'd put that mugshot up in my office.
Wow. Okay.
Baller's not the word I'd use, but yes.
Balling on a budget. I mean, it's a mugshot you can get. Anyway, Scott Jennings, Mike Leon, thank you so much, both of you. Thank you all as well.